back to Tempus Valorem, the channel that helps you have the best time gaming. So today we're going to talk and review Genshin Impact. So Genshin Impact, as some of you may know, was released in September last year, the 28th, and it's been like awaited for a very long time. So it's available on consoles, PC, and mobile. And it's a free-to-play game. The world that it's set in is quite amazing. It's quite an anime style, but it's really, really nice. So here you can see actually the landing page, like everything is really polished in this game. So that's really impressive. One thing that's quite interesting to note is that even if we don't account for Android secondary markets, like if we account for actually Google Play Store and App Store, we can see that about a day ago, a day or two ago, Genshin Impact managed to actually land 6 months to $1 billion, which is really impressive. So here you can see on the article from Sensor Tower, the other game and how long it took them. So that doesn't mean like these are the only games that made $1 billion plus, but it's actually like the one that did it in a shorter span of time. So that's quite impressive from Genshin Impact. What's quite interesting as well is that if we track the purchases based on the heroes, you can see that really like when they put a lot of marketing effort into some heroes, like it has a tremendous impact. So you have that especially with Zhongli and Xiao, that have been characters that have been awaited for a long time, that had actually a bit more trailers than the others, and that actually like was quite fruitful, as you can see. And Ganyu, kind of a surprise, but like very overpowered character, so it still helped actually with the sales and nice visuals as well. So you can see here basically like each hero and their contribution a little bit. What's quite interesting is like there was a lot of like up and downs based on the influencers, the way the game content was covered, etc. So there's tons of influencers, so I'm just going to mention a couple of them, and let's say the most famous or most drama related videos. One of them is quite impressive by Tena, where he actually spent money in the game non-stop until he can actually manage to land Dairuk. So Dairuk is one of the best characters, especially from the first set of characters. Now there's a bit of power creep, so actually like a stronger character released like Hutao, etc. But at that stage of the game, it was probably the most powerful character in the game. So the video has 1 million views, but it's about like it cost him a lot of money to snipe a hero. So this is quite interesting to see the trends of the game, because you will see that a lot of influencers, like maybe half of the content available on YouTube is actually people pulling for heroes. So you can really see that this is the main bit of this game. It's really like the hero content and how to acquire these heroes. After spending a lot of money on his account, another YouTuber, Mtashed, for example, went free to play. So he actually created a second account. Well, he created several, and he picked actually the best of all the secondary accounts he had, free to play god. What's quite interesting is that there was a bit of drama when he left, and a bit of conscious guilt, which is quite interesting to see about how actually spending money and letting others watch your spending can actually enable people and make them feel more comfortable about spending more money. That's something that's good for the developer, don't get me wrong, and actually can be quite good for the YouTuber as well, because they can expand and they can make back the money with the views they get. But for some players that are a bit isolated and like some people who would spend a bit more than they would usually, because actually they have this enabling factor, including myself. So I'm not judging anyone. Spend several hundred of dollars on the game. So it just like it makes it a bit easier, and it's a bit more euphoria when everybody's trying to pull for a character. So then I think like the last big ones that we got as video is Tectone, like actually checking how much he spent on the game, and about $50,000 was spent on the game. So I mean, that's one of the things with Tempus Valorem, that okay, like games are cool and it's okay to spend money on games, etc. But should it really be to an extent of $50,000? That's several cars that we're talking about, so that's a bit crazy. And then like there's still actually a lot of coverage about the game. You can see even in Forbes, we still have like actually like a lot of coverage about the game regularly. Every week or so there's an article about the game. So just to give you that for the wide audience, not only for gamers, there's a strong coverage for the game. That's it. And just before I switch to the game itself, this is just like one of the web events that they actually give you amazing rewards, like these stones that I can get in a couple of seconds in the game. But if I log in every day here, I will get something. That's something we're going to talk about. It's about the daily check-in. So if we get back to the game, every day I can actually spend, I can get, sorry, about 50 gems, which is the hard currency in the game. So this currency, mainly you're going to use it to pull for characters. So you can see here, you need to make a wish, so you need 160. So which means that for a free-to-play player, 60 gems, sorry, per day, 4 times 10 plus 20. So every 3 days, roughly, for a free-to-play player, you're going to be able to do one pull, which accounts for a very low chance to get a 5-star character. We cannot blame everything though. The game has some quite cool PT system, so that's quite interesting. You can see that if you actually, every 90 pulls that you're going to get, for certain you're going to get a 5-star character. I'm not going to go into all the details for that, but basically, like, if you're free to play, roughly every 5-6 months you can get the character that you want, and every 3 months you will have a shot to get a character. This is more or less what happened. So good that you can get a character for certain after a long period of time. But bad that it takes so long and that your chances before the PT system that starts, the soft PT that starts, I think 60, 70 pools is quite low. 60, 70 you start having higher chances and then 90 pools you get one for sure. So you will have actually limited characters that you can pull for a limited duration. What's really good though, and that's not available in all games, that the PT carries over the banners. So again, we can blame them for a lot of things, but for that part, that's pretty good, because a lot of games will actually reset the PT from one event to another, which is going to pressure you to actually make all the purchase during that banner, because if you don't, then you even lost your PT counter, which is pretty bad. So for example, in games like Epic 7, you will have actually a PT counter that's going to be carried over only for the Moonlight summons, but for the rest, it's not going to be carried over. For all the normal 5 stars heroes, it's not carried over. So you have really a pressure to really accumulate all the summons to actually be able to do it in a certain amount of time. The weapon summons are something that's really important in the game as well, because the best, it's one of the rare RPG game where the best hero plus the best weapons can be obtained through a gacha system. And this is like the most evil part really, because the weapons are becoming more and more interesting. I think there was a surge, of like, we want to try all the heroes for the first 3-4 first months, and now we can see that the people really wanted to do the best damage, etc. in the game will aim actually at getting the weapons as well, and of course refine them as much as they can. But getting a weapon is much more expensive than getting a hero. And that's it, and then you have the normal banner. So a bit of a trick from the developer, which is not amazing, let's say. They change the characters regularly on this banner to make you believe that you could get different characters. So for example, you would have had like a Diluc and Jin in the past, and now you have Keqing, Mona and Chi-Chi on the banner. So this is not best practices. Like it's of course, like it makes sense on the live ops side, because actually you renew the asset, so the person is going to click. So here you will click no matter what, because you see something new, but it's not so great for people who don't really read everything and who are a bit more impulsive and will just see like, oh god, like I want Mona because I want really strong support, and then I go here and I try to pull her. But actually, like you don't have more chance to get Mona here than here. Actually, you have more chances to get heroes on the limited banner. So that's about it. It's really tricky if you look at my history. So like there's a lot of pulls, but you will get like a lot of bad surprises. So you can see the date, that this was during the Hutao banner. So I'm one of the many who actually got a Chi-Chi instead of Hutao, which is not exactly what you want, because after you don't have any more money to actually summon. So it means that I lost the character and I won't get her until the rerun banner. So that was for the gacha system. It's quite a big part of the game, so I started with it. Maybe I shouldn't have. But the game itself is beautiful. So talking about Tempus Valorem and actually the value of time, I would say that the beginning of the game, the few first hours are actually like amazing. Probably like the few 10, 20 hours are really good. But after you really hit the free-to-play bottleneck, where actually like in free-to-play, I'm gonna say we because I'm a game developer as well, but we have to limit the content progression. Why? Because it's 100% game as a service. We need to provide you content regularly, etc. So we need to gate you. If we don't gate you, you finish everything in a couple of hours. I mean, and myself included, I'm a gamer too. But it's really hard to find a way to provide enough content to players so they can actually keep on playing non-stop in the game. you have like procedural worlds, etc., that can be created, but often it's not. We can see that with a lot of games released lately, often it's not the best way because it can become too repetitive because the parameters don't change so much. AI could change that. So AI is going to be really interesting for this procedural world in the future, where actually like, it's going to be more and more detailed, and maybe one day actually there'll be too much content, and like it's going to be a Genshin Impact first 10 hours but non-stop, maybe. But the only thing is that at the moment, so like you will have, if we keep on, I'm not MiHoYo, but if MiHoYo keeps on giving us like too many chests all the time, etc., we can get too many gems, etc., they cannot really gauge us in where can we actually progress in the game. So that's something they have to do. However, in terms of value of time, I would say that it's really like decreased the value of time over time. In terms of like amount of time that you have to spend in the game per day. So let's say like if you want to spend like 2 hours per day in the game, maybe the first month's going to be really good, and you're going to reach, so myself, I'm at AR 55, as you can see here. So you're going to reach like till AR 50, it's going to be really interesting for you, and a lot of things are going to unlock. 40 to 50 is maybe a bit slower, but after that it becomes very, very slow. There's a few players and a few YouTubers especially that are AR 56, but if you see the reward that you get, it's a bit ridiculous at this stage. So like the real focus that you will have, if you really want to have a strong value of time in Genshin after that level, it's like you come, you do the daily, you do your weekly quest, and you log off, and you don't play much more than that. You play the events when there's some. For example, now there's 1.4, but the events at the moment, the festivals, especially what they do, like they do in Liyue, they do in Mondstadt, it's really nice. Like it's a nice theme, etc. But it's still a bit lackluster in terms of content, in my opinion. Why? Because it's actually like it's small mini games that you have in the game, but it's not actually the core reason why you play the game. It's just some side thing that you do on the side. Again, which is cool. You get gems, you get a lot of rewards, so that's nice. We're not gonna split on that, but still something is a bit missing. Something to drive you to actually like get to the max. At the moment, for example, I don't have the best artifact myself. I have decent stuff, like you can see, like I have the usual Viridescent set and the Gladiator set, two piece, and then one random with animal damage bonus that I managed to get. So this is going to be like your farm is going to be mostly dedicated to artifact, and this is stuck and blocked with a resin, which is the energy of the game. So when you talk free to play, like a lot of time, like as you guys know, most of the time you're going to have an energy gateway. Here it's a resin that's actually preventing you from getting the artifact mostly. Artifact and weekly bosses, but really the weekly bosses you're going to do them in one day or something, like if not less, at the beginning of the week, and then like the 6 other days you're actually waiting for resin to do your artifact farming or talent material as well. So that's valid for the quick intro. The game itself, so it's quite cool. The thing that worries me personally is that the game is kind of like still at the moment. So like we said that at the beginning in September, but it's still in alpha/beta state, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people. I'm not like saying I'm the first to say that, but the thing that worries me personally is that a lot of things could change in the game if they change a couple of parameters. So at the moment it's more a solo player game. So a lot of your characters actually are going to work in a synergy in your team. So for example, in my case, I have the 2 Geo characters for the new bonus of damage plus the shield strength, and I have 2 Anemo to actually like recharge my Chao faster, and a little bit for the cooldown reduction. So this is how I build my team. If you want to build a team like that, for example, I got a bit lucky and I spent a bit of money in the game, but this is going to cost you already a couple of $100, or it's going to cost you a very long time of farming. If tomorrow, let's say co-op becomes the main thing, so the vision of MiHoYo on the long term is to actually like put a Sword Art Online version of not a Genshin Impact, but of a VR game. And what's important there is like it's going to be fully co-op and real-time MMO. So I'm not saying like they're going to start with Genshin, but there's some stuff that they can actually have to hammer down. Like for example, the element system is really strong and it's really good, but they may need to actually get to actually try it more with several people playing at the same time. So the problem, if you have several players playing at the same time, is that the team that you spend all your time and all your money building may be totally different. Like Hu Tao, for example, who's supposed to be like quite lame on cooldown, so you don't want her to be really on cooldown. You want to use her E, release all her power, then release her Q, and then just go to another hero. So these kind of heroes are not really going to work if co-op becomes a big thing. If they had a red boss that actually like requires 4 or more players, I think it's going to be hard for them to put more than 4 in a party because of like all the balancing that they did so far. But let's say like even you have 4 players and you have to play with other players because you won't be able to just switch because the boss is going to be too strong and it's going to destroy you. Then you may have spent actually $200 or like more to get to Tao, or you will have spent 3 to 6 months farming actually your daily quest. You're going to get Hu Tao and you're going to play her now for a couple of months, but then they announce the red feature and your Hu Tao is not going to be that strong anymore, because in a team, is it that good that half of your downtime you cannot really be efficient? I'm not sure. When we're going to start having like fights that are going to last like 3 minutes, when you're going to have like 3 people, etc., together, I think it's going to be quite harder to make some of the heroes that are currently in the game work. So personally, that's what worries me a little bit, is that I think the game is really good. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing what they managed to achieve. Even the world, just walking around, like looking at all this art, the depth that you can see in all here, that you can access everything without a loading screen or anything. I think it's really, really good. My main worry is about the spending and about the future. So one thing as well, if we look at the shop, so one thing that's quite good, well, this kind of like, if you're playing, like you can see that I have a lot, because sometimes I'm a bit impatient and I buy like 1 or 2 in advance. So like I still have like 55 days on mine remaining. So this is if you want to spend a bit of money in the game to make it a bit more efficient. With that, you're going to get 90 gems per day, which is twice almost, well, 50% more, excuse me, more than actually your daily quest farming. So with both of them, you get almost 1 pull, 1 wish per day, because you get 90 from the Welkin Moon and you get 60 from the farming. So 150 and you need 160 to do summon. So then they have like a couple of different things. This is I don't know why it's there. This is kind of a decoy maybe to make you feel better about the rest, or if you really like want something from these bundles, but it's really not something that anybody is really spending money on. Here is quite interesting. It's almost like a mini PT system. It's like when you don't get what you want, you get actually, or even if you get what you want, you get small star glitter currency, and you can exchange them for different things. So here you have an epic hero, well, a 4-star hero for sure. There's only 4-star and 5-star heroes in this game. Here you can actually exchange your starters, so you can see what I did with mine. Usually you go for the Mora and you go for these 2 every month. And then you can buy hero gem, as we said, it's 160. So here, as you can see, like I'm not gonna lie about it, I bought each of the pack 1 time. The first time you do a purchase, you get actually double the amount of currency. So not so bad. As you can see, I did it all. I think I did it all, and then I got another one of these, and then I got the Waking Moon, something like that. So it gets really tempting to spend a bit of money in this game to get the hero. Especially again, as I told you, when you have this euphoria and you're following your favorite YouTubers, etc. You watch their videos and you're like, okay, like actually that could be interesting to try this character also, and then it can be quite interesting. And they're really clever about the live ops, so they do something weird sometimes. Like for example, they put Albedo and Zhongli right after the other one, and they're both melee characters, they're both Geo characters, they're both support characters. Well, at the time Zhongli was especially a support. Now he's a bit more of a bruiser, and you can use him as DPS if you really want to. But really at the time it was a bit weird, so they do some more weird decision like that. But at the same time, they're not stupid. They put Albedo while everybody was knowing that Chao was coming, and Albedo C4, Constellation 4, is something that actually enables you to deal more plunge damage, which is something that Chao benefits a lot. So they still know how to play the game, of course, don't get me wrong, and they actually still plan the characters quite carefully. But yeah, it's sometimes some decisions are a bit weird, especially in terms of scarcity of the elements. But now we're gonna get the current Yuda. I don't know if it's gonna be Yuda last name. I think that was a joke from one of the designers or something. Like, you know what? They make us implement Yuda. We're gonna make a Yuda character, and it's bound to that milestone. So it's gonna be a Cryo Claymore character. So that's gonna be quite interesting to have in the game. But yeah, some slightly weird decisions sometime in the game. After like all the characters that you can make it work, etc. That's one of the problem at the moment. It's like, to be honest, like I have another account in Asia, and I'm like, I think AR24 or something like that. I didn't spend any money there, but God, like I feel the pain. I think it's Ezzerio got the 5-star lately. I feel the pain of going for so long. I think I didn't get to the first starter boost because I kept the same account. I just switched server, but still I think I did like 20 or 25 summons only, and I didn't get anything interesting. So it can be really hard, yes, if you're not spending any money at all. I think the Waking Moon is almost like a given. You need to, if you want to summon in the game, you need to buy it. If you don't want to summon, you don't have to buy it, of course, but it's going to be just really hard. You're going to focus mostly on the heroes that you get at the start and the heroes that you get for free. But again, you get like Fish Shield for free. You get like a couple of characters that are really good and can still help you. So yeah, value of time. At the moment, I'm struggling a bit, to be honest. I'm playing like I'm late on the event. I didn't manage to allocate a lot of time to the game, but even I started a little bit each of the events. Like it's okay, it's fun. The Bullseye balloon, etc. I know that some content influencers are hyping this a bit more than what it is, to be honest. But I understand why. Like, you know, like they need to make content, and to be fair, like I don't know, they do amazing for the lack of content of the game and actually the amount of content they manage to produce. I think it's amazing. But here, yes, I think like go to the website tempusvalorem.com. You can rate the game through different features, etc. You can see what you think. How would you rate the game? Again, it would be good the day that you're big enough that actually we can help making things change, and to see like how can actually game developers actually make the value of time like stronger from the beginning. Here again, my main worry is not only the lack of content, is that changing the game could actually like reverse and destroy everything that you've been building, because you've been building for a solo game, and if co-op becomes much more important, so like for example, they increase the level to 100 and the material to level up from 90 to 100 are bound to the raid bosses, then actually it's going to be really crucial to do these raid bosses. That could be really hard. Again, this is totally speculative, but it's something that would be a solution to the lack of content currently. But that will change a lot the way the game behaves. So I think that's about it from my side. I just wanted to give you a quick intro and how I felt about the game. So it's just to help you guys like make a decision if you want to onboard on the game or not. It's really fun, but just after a couple of months you won't have like that much long-term fun, let's say. It's going to be hard for you to spend like 4 to 10 hours per week and have a lot of fun. If you're looking for a game where you're going to spend like, let's say up to around 2 hours per week, 2 to 3 hours per week, I think that works. You're going to do your farming within 2 to 3 hours. Is it the most interesting thing? I'm not sure. Like, you know, playing dungeon all the time is not the best thing. Like it's okay, you know, when you get some good artifacts, but often you don't. So that's the problem. Summoning is quite interesting as well. You will be able to do a couple of summons here and there, but it's just, yeah, just know how much time you want to allocate. If it's a game that you want to really, you know, like you need something that actually is going to keep you busy 5-10 hours per week, something like that, because you need actually this escape mode and to escape into a game where you're going to have fun and it's going to be great for a couple of hours. Well, for more than a couple of hours, it's going to be a bit hard, but for a couple of hours, this will work. And voila, so I'm going to show you just like the pain that it is to summon. Usually you just go here and just get some blue, and that's it. Ah, some purple, okay, that's a bit lucky there. And, okay, oh no, sacrifice. I would have liked the wheat seed actually, but I will deal with that. But that's it, like that's what you do. This is the main driver of the game. So if you like gacha games and if you can control your spending, if you have a reasonable amount of disposable income, like go for it. If you can't control your spending, it's a bit dangerous. You may spend like a couple of hundred without really realizing it and without getting what you want. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game. It has like amazing graphics. The element system is amazing. one of the best out there. The reaction that you have between the elements, of course, they need to buff some of the elements. Animal can still have its use. Geo was boosted, but elements like electricity, etc., are not that strong at the moment. So hopefully that's going to be boosted and made a bit stronger. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe to Tempus Valorem channel. Please visit the website as well if you can and rate. This is where on the long term we're going to make the most impact. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.